Okay. Good morning, Miss Starraven, and welcome to the Artemis, the latest ship to join the Caravan Incorporated sort of fleet, sort of flotilla type thing, but we are rapidly growing. This is our first ship of this size and capability. This is a frigate. We are going to be using this to protect our assets in space and beyond the reaches of Mars and Earth. This is going to be perfect for increasing our sort of independency from other mega corporations, and being as we are not that large a corporation ourselves, this is of course not exactly a state-of-the-art ship, but it gets the job done, we think. We'll be starting off this today with a tour of the ship. If you have any questions to ask while on the tour, feel free to ask.
I will, and thank you so much for having me. Bit, say thank you. He says thank you. And he also wants to be thrown out the airlock. Right, Bit? See?
I wouldn't recommend trying to throw him out the airlock. Because of the size of the ship, we don't have a dedicated airlock. So, in the process of throwing out the airlock, you'd probably bend the atmosphere from the section of the ship and get us both sucked out.
Oh. Well, Bit, maybe, you know, another time. Just for you.
Anyway, let's start off with the most important part of the ship, really, the reactor core.
Okay. Ooh, my favorite color.
Yes, this is the primary reactor core, and the core that provides all the power to the ship. It is a massively oversized engine for the size of the ship, making it the fastest ship in our fleet. It's still not as fast as some of the cutters and that which you see working for Vask and Gemini, running between the planets at a rather sprightly 0.01 C, but we can make a good old rate. We can make around 0.009 C, which is still not exactly slow. It's faster than you can walk, we'll put it that way.
Oh, I know the feeling.
And moving onwards, I can't really go into details on the actual statistics of the reactor core, because to be totally honest, I'm not an engineer. I don't exactly know myself. In here is a multi-purpose room. When we're on duty, it can be a meeting room with a table and chair set up, but these table and chairs can easily be folded away, and the room can be used as a bunk room for off-duty personnel to catch some kip and get some shut-eye. You can't see the bunk set up at the moment. They're not actually installed at the moment. As I said, we are undergoing a major refit, but it's one of the more popular areas of the ship.
That's fine.
In here is our rather limited cargo capacity. We're not a cargo ship. We can carry some limited cargo capacity. There's weapons lockers, and there's a quartermaster's table here that can be used for small-scale maintenance as well.
Sounds good. So, but you do transport mostly people as cargo, right?
Well, this ship doesn't do an awful lot of transporting peoples or cargo at all, but yes, our larger transport ships do a lot of people transport and cargo transport. We have freight liners, tramp liners, and passenger liners which fly between the stars.
Sounds good.
And if we come around this way, we are coming round to the bridge section and CNC.
Oh, where everything happens.
This is where everything happens. We have weapons controls in these 4 chairs at the back here. These consoles directly control a not inconsiderable armament. Again, it's nothing compared to some ships, but this is only a frigate, and it does the job just fine.
You hear that Bit? That means don't touch any buttons. Just ignore him. He won't touch anything, because I'll throw him out the window.
I sincerely doubt that his touching a button will cause an issue. But if it did, we may have to employ him as some kind of master hacker. The control consoles are all biometrically coded, so only the designated users can actually use them.
See, Bit, you're too limited to use them. Okay, whatever.
This here is the scanner console where we can use our radar and other sensor suites for detecting other things. And here is, well, this is where I sit. This is the pilot's and captain's chair. This is where all the magic happens and the ship is flown and controlled from.
Magic, huh? That means, hey, Bit, don't touch anything still. Well, it seems on my sensor thing right in front of me that I'm detecting massive sarcasm from my robot.
Yes, you may want to get that bit seen to. We have some good technicians on board if you wish to have it checked over and upgraded a bit. You can probably get rid of that sarcasm.
I actually prefer it. It keeps me on my toes.
Yes. Your toes are very important. Anyway, is there if you'll just come round to the crew room, we'll have a sit down and you can ask me any questions and we can...
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, so what brought you to Mars and this corporation? And I froze. Okay.
well, it's just a matter of business choices, really. We realised that there was a major business we just were not exploiting on Mars. The passenger infantry, the industrial capacity to actually move objects from planet to planet just wasn't there, and we thought that working together with Mars side assets, we could possibly make some profits. The way the system works is that companies will pay us UBC credits to fly stocks and supplies to Mars, and then our franchise on Mars will be paid Mars credits to actually run the airfield and run the landing strip and actually operate it. The franchise on Mars is a completely separate entity which is just operating under our name, but all the ships that travel between the two planets and actually the actual governing body.
Sounds good. So yes, I think I've used your transport a few times, maybe. That and maybe, you know, my handler usually handles things. That's Toshka, by the way. He's my usual partner in interviews, because they don't want me going to classified things, but hey, stuff happens. So, in between transport between Earth and Mars, why do we need armored transport?
Well, it's a dangerous space. We have to deal with armed threats ourselves. We have there's raiders and pirates out there, and it's only a matter of time before we have to face major issues of actual interplanetary piracy. And we think by acquiring this ship, we are stopping it, nipping it in the bud before said piracy can actually take place. It allows us to have an active deterrent in place before the threat is really there, and it puts us in a good position to move forward in the future, I feel. Also, there have been cases in the past of, how we put it, inter-corporation rivalries leading to incidents, and we want to avoid that as much as possible.
Oh, I know the feeling. I've been in the middle of combat situations on Insilico and Mars. Just always ducking behind things and reporting the news. I seem to be getting used to that. Yeah. Yes. We are currently moving elements into the city and hoping to set up a dock facility there out in north, but we have been having issues with a terrorist organisation known as Ragnarok, but we are putting the steps in motion to deal with them. Yes, we're confident that
with this vessel and with our own security elements, and hopefully with the continued cooperation of Vanda Air and Space Corporation on Mars, and with the hopeful future cooperation of Insilico's own security forces, IPS, we are hoping that we can really grow, become a productive member of the corporate society, and be secure from future threats to our assets, from both security risks and financial risks.
Of course, that's what every corporation wants, and I guess even Ragnarok wants that, right, Bit? Yeah, as a reporter, I unfortunately see two sides of the story, but, I really hope everything works out.
Ragnarok are nothing more than a petty terrorist organization. We see them rise and fall all the time, and it will only be a short period of time until this so-called Ragnarok organization once again falls. We've seen it in the past with organizations taking over the shades and being driven out by IPS and other security forces, and it happens on cities all over the place. It's just a continuing cycle of growth and destruction. A terrorist organization crops into existence, grows, inevitably takes control of an area, and it's swiftly wiped out or destroyed by a security force working for the order in the city. It's only a matter of time before the same thing happens to Ragnarok.
I fear maybe that's true, but as I say, I really hope everything works out for the best. Anyway, since you travel a lot between Mars and Insilico, do you have any favorite places on both areas?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm fond memories of the Buddha's Bowl in the west of Insilico, and of the Blue Ant Bar in Insilico North. Both very good places. But one place which doesn't get enough mentioning, but is a very nice place indeed, is the diner. Some of the best food in Insilico. Lord knows how she gets some of it. I sometimes wonder if she isn't. Well, that's best left unsaid, but some of the best food in Insilico can be found in the diner.
Indeed. I think she has questionable ways of getting her wares, I should say, but I think she's a very good diner owner.
Oh yeah, Tralala is yes, some of the yeah, she's a nice lady as well. I've only met her once before, but it's always interesting. And the Buddha's Bowl does great food as well. And Insilico is a really good place if you're just out for a night out and after some food and the like. I've only ever had a few business trips actually in Insilico itself, mainly working in other cities and everything. But we are currently preparing to make a journey to Insilico to have a business meeting with a few high-ranking members of the corporate hierarchy, and we're hoping that if those meetings come out well, we'll be setting up an office in Insilico and hopefully we'll be able to spend more time in the city.
I wish you all the best, especially in the diner. I love going there too. I went there once myself just looking for a story, and Tralala told me a lot of really interesting things. And I also ordered a whole bunch of meals for the base because, you get tired of MREs all the time.
Ah, yes, MREs. Yes, I tire of them also. That's why I always spend a lot of money on my food when I'm actually in the city or on Earthside. So, anyway, do you have any further questions at all?
Oh yes, what's your favorite place on Mars, and have you heard about the ruins there?
Ah, yes, the ruins. One of my workers inside the actual franchise has recently overflew them, took us some surveillance photographs. They're not really of interest to us corporately, but they're certainly interesting from a point of view, of a historical point of view. But we're not archaeologists, we're a shipping business. They're of no real economic interest to us, and what's not of economic interest is of no interest to the corporation. But if Vanda Air and Space Corporation wants to bring us in to aid in the recovery on said ruins, and we'll be more than happy to aid them.
Sounds good, sounds good. Have you also heard of the mysterious telescope floating above Mars?
The derelict, yes. We have had a few issues. It's a real hazard to our it's a real hazard to navigation.
I think I'm going to do a report on that soon. I can't wait to.
Well, I wish you all the luck. When it comes to the derelict, we're currently looking at ways to hopefully remove it. But it's nothing more than a navigation hazard easily bypassed, so we're probably not going to, again, sink much resources into investigating.
Sounds good, sounds good. Let's see. Any follow-up questions or closing arguments that you'd like to state?
Well, we'd just like to say that Mars is lovely this time of year, and if any of you people now want to get away for a period of time or a short break, Caravan Incorporated has always got flights travelling between Earth and Mars, and we're more than happy to, if you're willing to pay the fare, to provide you with a holiday package or other interesting opportunities on Mars.
Oh yes, same here. I live on Mars and sometimes can't always travel, so I report via drone on in silico, but I personally prefer traveling and talking to people in person.
Yes, communication by drone is definitely less satisfactory than actual face-to-face talking to people. It's why I always, when I'm carrying out business meetings, rather than talking about communications, I always go there in person.
Same here. You know, it's the same with interviews. I see my interviewee as an asset and a place to travel as nothing more than a nuisance.
Indeed, I agree entirely. But anyway, I probably shouldn't take up much more of your almost certainly very valuable time, and we've got some important work to carry on doing from the ship, and it has been a most wonderful interview, and I hope to be able to have an interview with you in the future about other opportunities.
Oh, I would love that. I want to interview everyone on Mars and Silico, if possible. If not, well, who knows? I almost ran into a terrorist I think maybe last week when I was trying to attempt an interview. Nearly dodged a bullet there. I don't think he wants an interview. I think he just wants to shoot everything up.
Yes. That's interesting. He's not really a terrorist. Terrorists generally have a cause, and they generally will attract media attention to carry on that cause. If the person's just there to shoot things up, he doesn't really have a cause, and he's not really out there to gain media attention. He's just a psychopath trying to shoot things, isn't he?
Good point, good point. I hope he takes kindly to reporters, though. But who knows? Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again in the future. I know I'll be doing a lot of travel myself.
Of course, we're always here. We have regular flights if you ever need to travel between the planets. We're more than willing to give you a good offer, I feel.
Okay, thank you so much. This is Star Raven reporting from Mars Global Broadcasting Network, and Bit, say something. Okay. Well, thank you again so much for your time, Jeff.
You're welcome. You are most welcome.
Okay, and thank you for watching, viewers. Have a great day.